In the lead up to his highly anticipated bout against Tank, Lamont Roach Jr. has been making significant strides to elevate his training regimen. Roach is currently sharpening his skills with Terence Crawford, who recently paid him a visit in his camp. While Davis has been at the center of various personal and professional disputes recently, Lamont Roach Jr. has maintained a relatively low profile. However, as the fight approaches, Roach has begun to open up about his training and his perspective on facing Davis.
It's competition, and it can only be one winner. It can't be two winners. It can only be one winner. So it's either going to be you or me, and I'm going to get you before you get me.
In a recent interview with Johnny Padro of Fight Hub TV, Roach discussed his training camp and his enthusiasm for performing on such a prominent stage. The conversation took a serious turn when Padro brought up Davis's controversial remarks about Terence Crawford's family. Roach responded thoughtfully, acknowledging the personal nature of the feud, but distancing himself from the conflict. I mean, obviously it looks like they're on a personal level of disrespect, but that's their business, not mine, Roach stated. He emphasized his focus on his own preparation and refrained from getting entangled in others' disputes.
He's gonna sleep for sure. Soften him up, then fry him.
This mature stance is probably what led to Bud visiting Crawford in his camp. In contrast, Davis's recent behavior has drawn criticism from various quarters, including fellow boxers and industry professionals. The feud between Davis and Crawford escalated following the Ring magazine event in London, which Davis did not attend. Feeling slighted, Davis expressed his frustration publicly on X. Crawford responded with a lighthearted jab, tweeting, "I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring magazine gala." This seemingly innocuous comment led to a heated exchange, with Davis retaliating by making personal attacks on Crawford's family, including his wife, Alindra Person, and their children. These actions have been widely condemned within the boxing community.
That lawnmower, that's that. Start that motherfucker lawn.
Figures such as Teofimo Lopez, trainer Greg Hackett, and matchmaker Rick Glazer have criticized Davis for crossing personal boundaries. The consensus is that while trash talk is common in boxing, involving family members is unacceptable and detracts from the sport's professionalism. Amidst this backdrop, Roach's decision to train with Terence Crawford is particularly noteworthy. By aligning himself with a boxer of Crawford's caliber, Roach demonstrates his commitment to honing his skills and gaining insights from one of the sport's best. This move could be seen as a strategic effort to not only prepare physically, but also to gain a psychological edge over Davis.
I say ninth round.
What?
I say ninth round.
You said ninth?
Yeah.
What's your response to that, Lamont?
Look, he got scared. Look, he looked at night.
I'm telling you, you saying you going down in a night?
The upcoming fight has garnered significant attention, not only because of the main event, but also due to the compelling undercard. The event, broadcasted on Prime Video PPV, features several title fights. In addition to the Davis-Roach bout, fans can look forward to Jose Valenzuela facing Gary Antoine Russell for the WBA super lightweight title, and Yoenis Tellez taking on Julian Williams for the interim super welterweight title. The prelims will showcase Jarrett Hurd against Johan Gonzalez and Gio Lopez versus Alex Dilmagani. In the US, the event can be accessed via Amazon Prime for $80. The global interest in this fight underscores its significance in the boxing calendar. Davis, boasting an unblemished record of 30-0, is known for his formidable punching power, with 28 of those wins coming by knockout. His recent knockout victory over Frank Martin has only solidified his reputation as a knockout artist. On the other hand, Roach, with a record of January 1st, 25, is stepping up from super featherweight to challenge Davis. This move showcases Roach's ambition and confidence in his abilities. The history between Davis and Roach adds another layer to this matchup. The two first met as amateurs in 2011, with Davis emerging victorious.
I think he actually took this fight for the naysayers and all this and all the people talking shit about the fight. I think he actually took the fight because he know that I'm a dog. And, he want to prove his skills against the dog. So I'm gonna show y'all what happens when two dogs get in the ring together.
Now, over a decade later, Roach seeks redemption and aims to prove his growth as a fighter. This narrative of past rivalry and personal growth adds depth to the upcoming bout. In the weeks leading up to the fight, both boxers have engaged in verbal sparring. Roach confidently tweeted, "Roses are red, violets are blue, March 1st, sounds like in the new," signaling his intention to dethrone Davis.
Up 2 weight classes, and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow, man. Said you.
Not one to back down, Davis retorted, "Roses are red, violets are blue, March 1st sounds like, don't worry baby, you'll be home soon from the hospital." While Davis's confidence is evident, his recent offering controversies have cast a shadow over his public image. His decision to involve Crawford's family in their feud has been widely criticized, with many viewing it as a step too far. Such actions not only affect his reputation, but also bring unnecessary distractions ahead of a crucial fight.
Are you a meat lover?
But Tank would never even think about hesitating to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. If Tank get to pick his opponent, he would do it. But Tank would never.
Roach, in contrast, has maintained a focused and respectful demeanor. His collaboration with Terence Crawford for training indicates a strategic approach to the fight. By learning from Crawford, Roach aims to refine his technique and gain valuable insights that could prove advantageous against Davis. The undercard fights also promise to deliver excitement. The WBC super lightweight title clash between Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin is particularly anticipated. Both fighters have shown exceptional skill in their previous bouts, and this matchup is expected to be a closely contested battle. Additionally, the WBA super lightweight title fight between Jose Valenzuela and Gary Antoine Russell adds to the event's allure.
I'm not looking at Lamont the way that everybody else look at Lamont. Like I know Lamont is a really good fighter. I'm not. This ain't no Frank Martin. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a real good fight.
Both boxers are known for their aggressive styles, and fans can expect a high-octane encounter. The inclusion of Yoenis Tellez versus Julian Williams for the interim super welterweight title further elevates the card's prestige. Tellez's rising prominence in the division and Williams' experience make this a compelling matchup. Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr.'s upcoming fight is already the talk of the boxing world, but it's the chaos outside the ring that has people glued to the heat. While Roach is laser focused on his preparation, Davis seems more interested in fueling social media battles, particularly with Crawford. What started as a minor online spat between two elite fighters quickly turned personal, and now Davis is under fire for crossing the line.
How you feel about that fight? Is it even possible at a catch weight?
Nah, ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47.
You're not even entertaining the catch weight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right,
I'll welcome him.
Greg Hackett, a respected boxing trainer, was one of the first to call Davis out. He pointed out that when trash talk moves from fighter to fighter and starts involving wives and kids, it's no longer just about hyping up a fight. From my understanding, Tank wasn't talking about Bud in the beginning, but when Tank said about his chick, that's like different. That hit home, Hackett said. He emphasized that a man's wife is sacred in any dispute, especially one as public as this. That's not just his girl, that's his old lady. When a chick meets your status of old lady, it's because you've been through so much with her. It wasn't just Hackett who thought Davis had crossed the line. Veteran matchmaker Rick Glazer also weighed in, calling Davis's words classless and warning that personal attacks like these could have real consequences. Very low by Tank Davis, you never ever bring family into it, ever. Classless move, Glazer posted on social media. His frustration was clear. Boxing is already a brutal sport, and fighters should keep their personal lives separate from the ring. Davis, however, seemed unfazed. Instead of apologizing or stepping back, he doubled down, posting cryptic tweets and laughing off the backlash.
I don't know Lamont Roach, but, when you're looking at Shakur Stevenson, when you're looking at, these other fights that he should really be fighting, he don't want to do them fights. He wants to retire. Yeah. So don't come and... but don't come and...
But while he may not care about the criticism, it's clear that his actions are earning him more enemies than allies. Even among his peers, many are distancing themselves from him, making it clear they don't support bringing families into the fight. Then out of nowhere, Teofimo Lopez decided to insert himself into the controversy. At first glance, Lopez's comments seemed to be in support of Crawford as he criticized Davis for attacking Crawford's family. You all trying to save face for Abdul Wahid when you know he messed up talking about Bud family, Lopez tweeted, appearing to side with Bud. But not everyone was convinced that Lopez was genuinely standing up for Crawford, especially Greg Hackett, who wasted no time calling out Lopez's hypocrisy.
The fact that this guy came to America to give me bananas and watermelon with a note on it. It's unprofessional, and I feel like it's racist, and you just made this fight a little more personal.
Hackett didn't hold back. Teofimo Lopez is a stone-cold P, he said bluntly. According to Hackett, Lopez wasn't really supporting Crawford, he was just using the situation to shift the spotlight off himself. Stop trying to spices to get the heat off yourself, Hackett said. He pointed out that Lopez had his own history of racially charged comments and was now trying to act like he was on the moral high ground. For those who may not remember, Lopez's own controversy came just last year when he made a racially insensitive comment about both Crawford and Davis. In an interview, Lopez was asked which fighter he wanted to face next, and his response was shocking. Whichever monkey wants to get the banana, he said before adding, "They say they are gorillas, I'm a lion, I eat them." The backlash was immediate, with many accusing Lopez of using racial slurs.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
Instead of taking accountability, Lopez avoided the situation altogether. He never apologized or fully addressed the controversy, letting it fade away. Now, months later, he's suddenly speaking out against Davis for attacking Crawford's family, and Hackett wasn't buying it. Like, bro, mind your business, he snapped. To Hackett and many fans, it was clear that Lopez wasn't genuinely upset about Davis's comments. He was just trying to shift the focus away from his own past mistakes. That's what made this whole situation so messy.
Davis was rightfully being slammed for taking things too far, but Lopez jumping in just made it even more complicated. It wasn't about right or wrong anymore, it was about who could point fingers the fastest. And in the middle of it all, Crawford, the man at the center of this feud, remained eerily quiet.
Beat his ass for y'all talking.
Shit, wait.
For
I don't
real.
give a fuck.
I better be quiet.
I don't give a fuck if y'all was
all that
quiet,
ski
y'all
mask
was,
and
if y'all
all
was
that.
loud.
We got the whole hood over there. Like, twisted up.
This silence from Bud left people wondering, was he plotting a response? Or was he just letting Davis bury himself? Many fans expected Crawford to fire back immediately, but instead he stayed cool, letting the boxing world do the talking for him. His supporters, along with trainers, matchmakers, and analysts, were already making his case for him. Davis had crossed the line, and he was losing support fast. Meanwhile, Davis seemed oblivious to the damage he was doing to his own reputation. Instead of acknowledging that he had gone too far, he kept feeding the fire, posting more cryptic messages and stirring up more drama. But at what cost? The more he talked, the worse things got. Even fighters who usually stayed out of these types of feuds started weighing in, all with the same message. Tank needs to chill.
Would you consider you and Gervonta friends?
Friends? Probably.
Is it gonna be hard to go in the ring and fight your friend?
Not at all.
Are you all gonna be friends after?
Yeah, why not?
Either way it goes.
Both making money.
But you guys are making each other bleed.
Hopefully I'll just make him bleed.
True.
Teofimo Lopez, on the other hand, was playing a dangerous game. While he was busy taking shots at Davis, people were starting to bring up his own past, reminding him that he had no moral high ground to stand on. If he thought he could erase his own controversy by attacking Davis, he was sorely mistaken. At this point, it wasn't even about boxing anymore. This was about egos, reputations, and personal pride. What started as a minor exchange between two fighters had turned into an all-out war of words, and neither side seemed willing to back down. The only question left was whether this feud would stay online or spill into the ring.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plant's wife, and say, who do you want next? And Tank's going to say, I want all those guys. And they're going to go to the...
Gervonta Davis has always been a fighter who does things his own way. Whether it's his brutal knockouts, his feuds with other boxers, or his unpredictable moves outside the ring, he commands attention in a way few fighters can. But his latest revelation, that he's retiring at the end of the year, has left many wondering if this is another mind game, or if Tank is truly stepping away from boxing for good. His conversation with Jay Hill made it clear that this isn't just talk. When pressed on whether he was really serious about leaving the sport, Davis doubled down, saying, yeah, for sure. This wasn't a hesitant response, nor did it seem like he was fishing for reactions. It was direct, just like the way he fights. But for fans who've followed Davis for years, it's hard to wrap their heads around the idea that one of boxing's most feared punchers could be walking away in his prime. Many in the boxing world have already started questioning his motives. Some believe Davis is using the retirement talk to stir up buzz and increase his leverage for a massive payday before he officially exits. Others think he's simply frustrated with the politics of the sport. His comments about undisputed champions being guided the right way suggest a level of disillusionment with how boxing operates. He might feel that the belts and records that once meant everything in boxing have been cheapened by careful matchmaking and strategic career moves.
Tank tweeted last night.
Yeah.
That he still got to see all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that means, though. Does that mean he still wants to face Devin Haney, or?
I just feel like, you may agree with me on this, I don't think Haney can get that Tank fight after this one.
I don't think so either. It's going to be real.
It's also impossible to ignore that Davis has had legal troubles and personal challenges outside the ring. Some speculate that he's tired of the constant scrutiny and wants a fresh start. Others believe that his relationship with Floyd Mayweather, which has seen plenty of ups and downs, plays a role in his decision. Mayweather has always been vocal about how boxers need to be smart with their money and retire while they're still on top. Could Davis be following that advice, or is this another instance of him trying to separate himself from Mayweather's influence? Regardless of the reason, the news has sparked reactions from all corners of the boxing world. Some fighters see it as a strategic move, while others think Davis is simply trying to avoid certain matchups.
Here's my take on the fight. Everything is true about this situation. One, Gervonta Tank Davis was being ducked leading up to this.
Shakur Stevenson, who has long been calling for a fight with Davis, didn't waste any time responding. Retiring? Come on, man. That's just a way to duck fights, Stevenson posted on X. If you are leaving the sport, why not fight me before you go? That comment only fueled the ongoing tension between the two. Davis and Stevenson have been circling each other for years, but the fight has never materialized. Many fans believe Davis isn't interested in a technical chess match and prefers explosive fights against opponents who will trade with him. Stevenson, on the other hand, is a master of making opponents look bad, and some think Davis would rather retire than risk looking ordinary against someone as slick as Shakur.
I mean, if he want to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you got to do. So I disagree with it. I think it's soft, but that's on him.
Do you still think that fight's possible? I know.
Then there's Devin Haney, who also had something to say. Haney, the current WBC super lightweight champion, has been on Davis's radar for years. He took the opportunity to throw a jab at Tank's announcement, tweeting, "Retirement? Man, I guess that means I was never in the plans. Guess you knew what time it was." Haney has long claimed that Davis has been avoiding him, and this only added fuel to the fire. Davis, of course, isn't one to stay silent. He fired back at both fighters, telling Stevenson to go fight somebody worth mentioning and calling Haney a paper champ. The exchanges have kept social media talking, but they also raise a bigger question. If Davis is serious about retiring, why not take at least one of these fights before he walks away?
What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him.
Who that?
The Keyshawn. Keyshawn looking way more better than this.
Some boxing analysts believe that Davis isn't retiring permanently, but rather stepping away to create demand. It wouldn't be the first time a fighter has retired, only to return for a huge payday. Floyd Mayweather mastered this strategy, retiring and unretiring multiple times, always ensuring that his return fights generated massive interest. Davis, who has modeled much of his career after Mayweather, could be playing a similar game. One person who isn't buying the retirement talk is Ryan Garcia. After Davis's announcement, Garcia posted a laughing emoji and later wrote, "Retire? Man, you just got started." Garcia, who was brutally stopped by Davis last year, has been trying to position himself for a rematch. He knows that Davis remains his biggest payday, and the idea of Tank walking away without giving him another shot doesn't sit well with him.
3 people in the world that I think that could beat Tank. That would be Devin, that would be Shakur, and Tank Davis himself.
You got the last one right. That's the only person that can beat me. Gervonta Davis. That's the only person. Them niggas cannot touch me at all. They all been in the ring with me. They all been in the ring, and I cracked both of them.
But Davis has shown no interest in a rematch, especially after Garcia's bizarre behavior in recent months. Between his erratic social media rants, his public feuds with promoters, and his unpredictable in-ring performances, Garcia has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Davis sees no reason to entertain a second fight, especially when he dominated the first one so convincingly. Outside of potential opponents, another interesting aspect of Davis' retirement talk is how it affects the business side of boxing. Showtime Boxing, which has been a major platform for Davis's fights, has already announced it's shutting down. With major broadcasters shifting their focus, the boxing landscape is changing. Davis might not want to deal with the politics of negotiating with new platforms or promoters, especially if he feels like he's already made enough money.
25 is at the next year. I'm out of it.
After our second fight.
You're out of it?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
There's also the question of whether Davis has accomplished everything he set out to do. He's won multiple world titles in different weight classes, knocked out some of the biggest names in the sport, and built a loyal fan base. But at the same time, he's never been undisputed in any division, nor has he fought the very best of his era. If he leaves now, he leaves with his aura intact. But some will always wonder what could have been if he had taken fights against Haney, Stevenson, or even Teofimo Lopez. What's your take? Share it below and subscribe for more updates.